So hi guys, I am Qayyum, and in this video I will show you how to start and stop RAC databases. So as you can see on the desktop screen that I have recently started two VMs, namely RAC 1 and RAC 2. So generally we have two node RAC database. So let me connect with the data. Let me connect with the nodes using putty sessions. So guys, as you can see that I have connected on both of the nodes using putty. So let me show you that if there is any DB is running in background. Okay, so we don't have anything running in background on rack 1. Let me do the same on rack 2 also. So currently as we can see only ASM instance is running on both of the database rack nodes. Let me do a service CTL and check the status of the database. Are they running or not? Service CTL status database D RAC. Okay. By using this command, we can find out that the instances are up or not. So okay. We got the output that rack 1 and rack 2, both of them are not running. The same we can do on rack 2 also. So we got the same output on rack 2 also. Okay, in background we don't have any instances running except ASM. So now let me show you something. Okay, for querying that the CR is open or not, we need to go inside the bin directory, and for that we have just executed a command ps-ef grep d.bin. So it will list out all the bin directories. So here we can have bin directories in grid home, and as we can see that most of the directories given the access to the root user and grid user. So we need to log in as a root user to execute the crstl commands. Okay, let me clear the screen again. ps-ef grep and d.bin. So so that we can go inside the bin directories. Okay, copy this and change the directory to the bin directory. Okay, let me do pwd printed working directory and in bin directory. Okay, yeah. So same we can do on rack 2 also. okay, ps-ef grep d.bin, so we can list out all the bin directories. Now change to bin directories. Okay, need to do pwd we are in. Okay, now for checking the status of the cluster, we need to do crctl status resources minus t. Okay, as you can see, the output of the same command has been shown. As we can see, everything is online right now. Okay, instance. Okay, currently no instance database. Okay, currently no instance of the database is running on both of the devices. Okay, both of the rack nodes. Okay, the same we can query on the rack data rack 2 node. Okay, the same output of the command is showing on the rack 2 also. Okay, now need to clear it. So now we need to start the DB instances. Okay, so we can directly start the DB instance, or we can individually start each instance on each node as well. So for directly starting the entire database, we can do a survey ctl start database minus d and the DB name. So we can start the database using a survey ctl start database minus d rack db. Okay, it will take time. So here we can see that srvctl start database minus d rack db. So using srvctl we can control the services on a cluster on rack database. So using resources, using services like listener, scan listener, databases instances, these can be controlled and maintained by using srvctl. We don't need to have a root user to execute a service.etl. We can simply execute this service.etl command using as an oracle using login as an oracle user or grid user. But for crctl, that means crctl, we need to have a permission as an root user. Okay, so that the root user can control and manage the clusterware resources. Okay, now the command has been executed. Now we need to check the status Are the databases started or not? SRVCTL status database minus D RAC DB. So by using this command, we can know the status of particular instance. Did they started or not? So here is the output of the SRVCTL command. Now we can see that the instance RACDB1 and RACDB2 both are running on node 1 and node 2. Okay. So by using this command, we can simply start the instances on the both the nodes. So generally, what happens in RAC cluster? RAC means real application cluster. So in this, we can distribute the database into multiple servers. So for example, here we have two node RAC database. Okay. So we have two instances on both the nodes. Like on node 1, we have RACDB1. On node 2, we have RACDB2. So in this way, uh, we can manage both the instances from any of them. Like from I'm executing the srvctl command from rack1 server, that means node 1. From node 1, I'm starting the database on node 2 also. So in this way, we can do anything. For example, in if something failure occurs, and for example, if we have four servers, four nodes inside a rack database. So for example, out of the four, uh, one it get fails, so we have three. So by using the three nodes, the user can get the data easily, and there will be no timely loss and no connectivity loss due to this RAC database generally uses. So in RAC database, currently the capacity we can scale horizontally up to 100 nodes. So by using a single database, we can scale that database up to 100 servers. So that is the most benefit of the RAC database. So let's come to the point. We have just executed srvctl, and by using that command, we can see that RACDB1 and RACDB2 both are up and running around now. So let me show you. We need to log in as a root user for executing crctl, so we can now get the status of entire cluster, what resources are right now online or offline. Okay, let me go inside the bin directory. Okay, currently I'm in bin directory. Okay, let me check crctl status resource minus t grep. How many resources are online? Okay, and we simply can count them using word count hyphen n. Currently 31 resources are online. Okay, now need to check for the offline resources. Okay, we can now see that online resources are 31 and offline resources are 2. execute this query on let me check this query on node 2 also, so we can confirm that on both the nodes they are syncing with each other. The same ps-ef grep d.bin for going inside bin directory. Let's copy the path. Then go inside the path. Let me clear the screen. Let me copy this command from RAC1 and execute this on RAC2 also. Okay, we can see now that the same status is coming outside. Okay, on RAC1 there is 31 online resources. On RAC2 also there are 31 online resources. Now check for now we are going to check for offline resources. Okay, both the nodes showing the same status for both online and offline resources. Okay, let me check now. Status of resources complete. Okay, so about DBs are up and running on both the nodes. Okay, everything just except RAC PDBs. Okay, pluggable database. They are offline. We don't need to bring them up. Okay, they don't create any problem in that. But other than these two, all are online. Okay, so by using this command we can see the status, name, target, state, server, state details. So in this way we can query using CRSCTL. Okay, that is good. Now we need to exit from root user. Okay, on both the nodes. Now let me tell you, if we need to shut down the servers, okay, of RAC databases. So for that we need first we need to do some stepwise. For example, to prevent the failures it can cause if we just suddenly shut down the servers without bringing down the DBs, clusterware softwares. Okay, so for sometimes what happens, the server gets hang, and due to their inaccessibility we cannot access them using either of putty or anything like any terminal. So in that case the system admin do what system admin does, they simply restart the servers. So what a DBA needs to do that he needs to ensure that the clusterwares also down on both the cluster or any node which needs to be get restarted or shut down. So in that case the failure of the clusterware or database should be prevented. Okay, so in this way we need to do like shutting down the DB, then shutting down the cluster, then shutting down the CRS. So in this sequence we can shut down the entire node or either restarting the server or shutting down the server. So let me shut down. Okay, now everything is online on both of the nodes, so we need to shut down stepwise. First what will we do, we will shut down SRV CTL, stop database minus d rack d. So the first step would be stopping the database, okay, on the entire cluster. So by executing this command I will shut down the instance on track 1 and track 2 on both. Okay, let me hit enter. Let wait for some time and the DB will get shut down. After that, we will proceed for shutting down the cluster. So the SRVCTL stop database command has been executed. Now we need to see the status of the database. Are they really shut down or we need to do anything? Okay, the status command executed and we have both the nodes both the nodes instances are down right now. Let me execute this same command for that also. Now we can see that sorry. Now we can see that the same status is showing on the right also. Node 2. Now first step is completed to shutting down the database. Okay. The second step, we need to log in as a root user to shutting down the cluster. We can't do it as an Oracle user. Okay, I am logging as an root user. Who am I? Root user. So let me know ps-ef thread d.bin directory so we can execute crctl. Let me copy this and change to bin directory. Okay. Let me pwd. We are in bin directory right now. Same we need to do it on RAC also ps-ef brief d.bin. Okay, let me copy the path. Copy the path. Changing the directory to the bin one. Executing pwd. We are in bin directory right now. We are in bin directory right now on both the nodes. Okay. Now we need to shut down the cluster. For the shutting down the cluster, we are using crctl. Stop stop cluster off. So by using this command, we can shut down the cluster. Okay. crctl stop cluster off. Okay, now we are seeing the progress on the screen also. Results are getting shutting right now. Shutting down right now. Wait for the completion and then we move for the CRS. Okay, the command has been executed. Now let me clear it. ps-ef. Let me check the CRS status. Okay. Okay, on rack 1 we don't have any CRS running. Okay. we need to execute the same command on track 2 also. As we can see, cluster where is already stopped on track 1 as well as on rack 2. Now we need to check ps-f grep any CRS is running or not. So we can see that no CRS service is running in the background or any resources. Ps-f, let me check also any p1 process is running or not. No. Ps-f grep, there is no p1 s1 process is also running on the right. Okay. Now we need to execute the third step, shutting down the CRS. Stop CRS. CRS stop CRS. Okay. Now starting shutting down high availability services. Okay, it has been executed right now. Same we have to do on track 2 also. CRS stop CRS. Okay. Okay, the same as well. Executing on the track 2 also. Okay, the same has been done. CRS. We have shut down the database first step. We have shut down the cluster second step, and now we have shut down the CRS. So in this way we can shut down the servers. So now we can restart the servers or shut down the servers easily. It won't have either of any cluster web or say any database. So where this would be the procedure if we are going to restart or shutting down the servers. In that case, we need to shut down the database, cluster, and CRS one by one. And if we want to bring them up, we have two ways. We can do it manually, or we just need to give such a command CRSCTL in our CRS. Okay. So this would enable auto restart of CRS. So by using this command, you can edit the parameter of cluster whenever the servers are getting restart. So in that case, we don't need to start the CRS and cluster and databases manually. It automatically start with the servers. Now for startup, similarly for startup, we need to first start the CRS. So for that we will do CRSCTL start CRS. Okay. First step would be CRSCTL start CRS. Okay, the message path that Oracle high availability services has been started. Okay. The same we need to do on RAC 2 also. So on RAC 2 also CRS started. Now we need to start the cluster. For that we will do CRSCTL start cluster all command. will take some time, and after this cluster, when the cluster start up, we will wait for some time so that all the resources get online. After that, okay, the following node did not reply within the allotted time. No issue in that. It will take time. The same we need to do on the CRCTL. Start on RAC node 2 also. As I already said that it would take some time. It will take some time. So we need to wait for all the resources getting online. After that, we will start the database. For now, we can check the status of the CRS. So we can see right now. So okay, the execution of the same command on track also happened. Let me do this one more time so that we can clarity. Okay, started. As you can see, all the resources of the cluster are getting online. Some of them are failing because it will take time. Intermediate, okay, it's getting online. Let me wait for that. On rack 2 also we need to check the status. Let me check it. Okay, uh, now as we can see that some of them are still starting, but those failed, which were failed, they are right now working. Okay, rack 2, they are stable. Okay, there is nothing wrong right now, so we can see that everything is fine. Let me check one more time. Okay, okay. Other than databases, nothing is offline right now. So we need to start the database right now. So we can log out from the root user and sign in as an Oracle user so that we can execute the service.ctl database command to start the database. So now I will srv, I will do srv.ctl start database minus d database name. Okay, so we have RAC DB as an inter-cluster database. So right now I will enter. We should wait, let's say 2 to 3 minutes. It will till this DB gets up. Once the DB is up, we are all set. So in this way we can stop and start the CRS as well as the databases. So this procedure will be helpful in terms of let's say if in industry or MSS, there will be some instances occurs right in the path of the deployments, say. So for example, SA needs to patch up the operating system, say Linux or etc. on the server. So for that we need to shut down the rack. RAC DBs. Along with we need to shut down the cluster layer, software on that particular DB node also. So in that case, this RAC startup and shutdown procedure would be helpful. It will prevent DB from crashing. So sorry, we don't require any further recovery. So now the databases are up and running. Let me check the status. The same we can do on node 2 also. Database, RAC DB. both the nodes. Let me execute this once more time. Because previously tell that not running on RAC 2 and at RAC 2 on node 2 we are getting both the instances are on. Okay, now we can see that on both the nodes we are getting the same status, that both the DB instances are running on both the nodes. Okay, let we go inside SQL plus access DB. Okay, on node 2 also access DB. Okay, we are inside the DB right now. Okay. On node 2 we have RAC DB2 and on node 1 we have RAC DB2. RAC DB1. Let we check the open mode, set line size for better visibility. Select name, open mode from GB dollar database. Okay, the same set line size 400. Okay, now we can say that both the DBs are in read and write mode. Let me check for the host name, instance name from GB dollar instance. Okay, see that we are getting the same. For RAC 1 we have RAC DB1, RAC DB2 which is on RAC 2. So in this way we can get the status for the DB. We can check the DB background process using P1 also. So as we can see on node 1 RAC DB1 is running. So we need to check it on node 2 also. Okay, the same is there also. RAC DB2 is on running. Now see how many Oracle processes are running. 144 are running on RAC DB1. Now let's check the same status on RAC DB2 also. Okay, on RAC DB2 we are having 130. On RAC DB1 we are on node 1 we have 144 Oracle processes running in background, and on node 2 we have 134. So in this way we have learned about how to stop clusterware databases and how to start databases clusterware in this one. So now let me shut down the service will stop database active service will stop. So we can shut down both the nodes. Okay, service UTL. We have just stop the databases. Let me check with the PS icon break or daemon. Is there okay? The same we need to check on node 2 also. There are also node DB instance running in background. So service UTL status database -d RAC DB service UTL status database RAC DB. This will give us the status that the instances are shut down or not. Okay. So here we can see that on both the nodes the database instance is shut down. The same status on node 2 also. Okay. Now we have shut down. We have shut it down the daily instances. Now we need to shut down the cluster and cluster CRS also on both the nodes. For that we need to log in as a root user. So see let me find where our bin directories are. So for that I am executing ps-break of d.bin. Okay, here we can get bin directory. Now switch to bin directory so we can execute the CRS-UTL commands. Same we need to do on node 2 also. d.bin. Copy the bin directory path, switch to that. Okay, switch to there. Now we have changed. We have switched to bin directory. Now let's shut down. Then second step, shutting down the cluster. Okay. For that we need to CRS-UTL stop cluster on. Okay. Progress will be shown on the screen. Okay, one by one each and every resource is getting shutting down. So we have just shut down the cluster. Now the same we need to do on node 2 also cluster on. Okay. So we can see that cluster where is already stopped on rack 1 as well as on rack 2 also. So let me confirm are they really stopped or not by using ps-ef grep CRS. Okay. Currently there are some processes running in background CRS. Okay. So on rack DB2 on node 2 we don't have any process which is running as a name of CRS. Let me check again. Okay. Now on node 1 also there is no services running in the name of CRS. Okay. So now let me stop the CRS-UTL. Stop. Let me stop the CRS. Okay. just stop the CRS of actively on node 1, and we are doing this on node 2 also. Okay, on both the nodes we have shut down the CRS, cluster and databases. Now we can shut down. Now we are free to shut down the servers. So for that I will do initialize 0. This one is now one, this one is now broken. So I hope you get understood this, and this way we can shut down and start the CRS database inside the RAC.